So my name is Stephanie and I'm a freelance artist and illustrator and workshop facilitator working in both Bristol and Bath. And I teach here in Adult Community Learning at Bath College, and I'm currently running an illustration for beginners course and an introduction to watercolours course. So the types of adults that come to my sessions, it's very varied. So I have adults from all different walks of life, all different ages, that all come to my sessions for all different reasons, and inclusivity is very important to me. So I've been teaching adult leisure courses for about 3 years now, and I got into it when I was working at a lovely little art cafe called Sea Dog, and I was selling my art prints there and also working at the cafe there as well. And the artists that run it asked if I'd ever thought about doing a sip and paint evening and wondered if I'd like to teach one of my watercolour pieces step by step to a group of adults, and it's nothing that I'd ever done before, wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I got to work promoting it, and I got a group of 9 learners, and yeah, it was so wonderful seeing everybody doing creating, and yeah, everyone was just so happy of the work they'd done, and that really inspired me to keep running workshops. So I started teaching workshops in a community cafe as well, so for a charity. And now I run beginner-friendly sip and paint workshops for a company called Lovely Brushley, and now I've started doing these lovely courses at Bath College now as well. So I work with quite a range of different abilities, so from complete beginners to quite experienced hobbyists as well. And yeah, I always like to make my lessons very varied depending on what kind of abilities. So I have stretch activities for ones that might be a bit more experienced, and then for the beginners as well, I have lots of sort of like warm-up exercises to kind of make them feel more comfortable. And some of the learners that are might be a bit more nervous as well. So sometimes their concerns could be about getting things wrong. So I always encourage with my courses, it's about the creative expression and finding your own personal style rather than getting things right or wrong as well. So I always like to provide a space where they're kind of free to express their creativity and kind of like let go of any fears that might be holding back that creative flow as well. So it's always really wonderful seeing lots of learners develop throughout the courses. And one recent example I can think of, one of my learners, she was a little bit nervous doing sort of like the pen drawings, so sort of the shading and the tone on the pen drawings, and she was getting a little bit frustrated about how the shading and the tone looked. So I gave her a few tips, a bit of like a one-to-one chat, a few tips and different methods she could try. And then when she sort of tried those methods and a few of her own as well, she gained like a lot more confidence. And then through that, she's been doing more sketchbook practice at home as well. So homework's always optional in my courses, but she's been really encouraged to do work at home as well. And she's also been engaging more in the group discussions as well, which is really lovely. So it's really lovely to kind of see that confidence grow throughout the sessions, and yeah, the confidence that she's feeling encouraged to be creating at home too. I adapt my sessions by, it's really good at the beginning of a session, I always do an individual learning plan, so everybody's got their own personal goals as well, so everybody's got something different that they want to achieve from each session. And any learners that might be sort of a bit nervous to say if they haven't painted in a long time, I always make sure that they are comfortable moving on to the next activity, and if they're not so comfortable moving on to the next activity, they could kind of do some sort of casual sort of sketchbook practice, or just sort of when they're feeling sort of safe to move on and everything. And yeah, and just kind of again that kind of encouragement to sort of express their own creativity and express like what they want to get out of each course as well. So I studied a degree in drawing and applied arts at University, and I feel like at that studying that degree I really developed my own personal style with drawing, and it sort of led on to exhibitions as well, so a lot of sketchbook practice and a lot of style development, and this led me on to doing freelancing, so doing freelancing, commissions and illustration for clients. And then when I was running the workshop, so after the art cafe and sort of doing the community teaching as well, it really inspired me to to learn teaching more as well and kind of research this more in depth. So last year I did an Adult Community Learning course in Level 3 qualification in teaching and education and training. And yeah, it was a really inspiring course, really interesting to learn more about the teaching side of things. And I believe as well doing this course really inspired me to get into adult community learning as well. I think it's really important that education is available to all adults, no matter what their background is, no matter sort of what any barriers they may be facing. So I think that's just a really rewarding thing to be part of. I keep my teaching ideas and my subject knowledge fresh a lot of time through my own kind of practice. So sometimes when I'm doing my own art practice, this is when I get inspired for ideas for the courses. And I also keep it fresh by watching sort of YouTube tutorials as well. I find those really useful and a really good kind of inspiration for the students. I also like having a look at reference books as well, so sort of step-by-step reference books, also books on different art movements and art styles as well. I find it's really nice to research something tactile rather than always online. And also I keep it fresh by keeping my creative connections as well. So through my workshops, when I'm talking to my other colleagues and when I do art markets as well, it's really good to speak to other creatives and other artists in the industry. And this really helps to kind of gain ideas, keep that motivation going, and yeah, just kind of keeping that knowledge fresh that I can share with my learners. So I'd say that you should choose one of my courses, as it's time carved out just for yourself that you can express yourself freely and be creative in a supportive and collaborative, welcoming environment. I like to sort of use gentle encouragement. So if they're feeling stuck on a certain sort of subject, some sort of teaching, and they can't sort of move past that part, then I'll have a look at sort of what they've done and what they've really enjoyed looking at. So for example, one of my learners was sort of struggling with the sort of observation of sort of drawing, and I sort of had a look through the sketchbook and sort of having a look at what she was really enjoying drawing. And yeah, we kind of switched the object, so it was the object she wasn't enjoying drawing, so we kind of switched the object over and encouraged more to do her own personal style rather than kind of focusing on exactly what the object looks like. And I feel that really kind of helped her get past that kind of stuck feeling, because again, it's kind of going into that kind of inner creativity rather than sort of the parts that we're sort of stuck on. Outside the classroom, I always make sort of like really engaging worksheets. So I make worksheets for all my learners, and after each session I always send a follow-up email to all of them as well. So this has the worksheets available. And then on my website as well, so I have details of any kind of upcoming sort of markets I have coming up and any exhibitions I have coming up. I also have short videos on there with kind of short tutorials as well, so this can kind of aid my learners too. And yeah, I let them know about other courses that I'm running in the college as well. So I'm also looking at doing some one-day workshops too, so I'll be sort of promoting these to my learners also. Make my sort of new learners feel comfortable in the environment by making sure they've got everything they need. So when they come into my classroom, I always make sure all the materials are laid out in front of them. I also like to lay out my classroom kind of in a horseshoe shape as well, so all the learners are kind of facing each other. It means they can have conversations, because a lot of my learners like to come to the classes to make new connections as well. And I also make everyone feel safe by and sort of comfortable by doing sort of an introduction about where all the facilities are and kind of a brief introduction. And if they feel comfortable too as well, they have an introduction, they sort of introduce themselves to the group. And then we all sort of establish like some ground rules as well, sort of stuff that we kind of all agree on, and this sort of makes it sort of feel comfortable. So the individual learning plan as well, so everyone's got such different goals as well and what they want to get out of the course. So assuring them that it is a course for their free time, for them to get for their own personal goals, not something that's going to be sort of marked and where there's pressure. It is for their own personal goals and development. And yeah, and then just it is like a space that they can create, and there's no right or wrong, and yeah, just that kind of gentle support and gentle encouragement as well. Communication and feedback is very, very important to me. So I always make sure I send the follow-up email after each session, and I always make sure I give feedback all throughout the sessions as well. So I make sure to kind of go around to all my learners and see how they're getting on, and see how they're getting on with their personal goals as well. So they always have feedback all throughout the sessions, and they all have feedback sort of after as well. And the individual learning plan is really important as well, so with everybody who's got their own personal goals too. And there might be some that might be wanting to go on to further education with it, some that have got their own personal goals. So I always make sure I tailor each learning plan to each learner, and make sure I tailor each sort of session to them as well. And just kind of keeping them updated all throughout the process, and sort of making them, so they know that they sort of feel valued and everything.